Hello teacher, I'm Ngọc from Group 4. Today our group will present chapter 10, motivation, personality, and emotion. Here's our group members. So moving to the agenda, today we will cover 6 learning outcomes as I show on the screen. Moving to the first learning outcome, that is the nature of motivation. So first, I will define the words motivations and motives. Motivation is what explains why people or animal initiate, continue, or terminate a certain behavior at a particular time, whereas a motive is considered as an unobservable inner force that explains why an individual does something. For example, when a girl is invited to join a birthday party, she wanna look pretty in the party, so she is motivated to satisfy that need. Then she will find the advertisement on Facebook or Instagram or on the street will relevant to her. So moving to the next part is the Maslow hierarchy of needs. This is the theory. This is the theory of motivation, which states that 5 categories of human needs dictate an individual's behavior, and I show on the screen. It is based on 4 premises. Through energetic investment and social contact, all humans develop a similar set of motivation. The second thing is that some motivation are more fundamental or vital than others. The third one is prior to activating their motive, the more basic motive must be satisfied to a certain extent. The last one is at a basic motive become satisfied, more advanced motive come into play. The next section is psychological motive will be presented by Wun.
Thank you, Tui, for your presentation. And now, Lu and I would like to discuss the McGuire psychological motivation. McGuire classified motives into 16 groups based on 2 main criteria: preservation or growth, cognitive or affective. These 4 major groups are further differentiated based on the source and goal of the motive: active or passive, create new internal or external relationships. If the answer is that the motive is cognitive and focused on preservation, then it is associated with 4 needs. The first is the need for consistency, which is active and internal. Consumers dislike receiving information that contradicts their internal consistency. For example, many consumers believe that wearing a mask and big hat is enough to protect them from sunlight, so they don't need sunscreen. To overcome this, marketers must use highly credible sources such as advice from dermatologists. The second one is the need for attribution. Consumers generally attribute selling motives to ad and disbelief or discount message. To solve this, marketers must apply a range of strategies, including trustworthy spokesperson. The third one is need to be categorized. Consumers typically create categories to organize the information they encounter in a meaningful yet manageable way. When consumers go shopping for clothing, they may classify everything under $20 is cheap and over $20 is expensive. As a result, brands price their shirts around $19.99 to avoid being categorized as more than $20. The final factors for cognitive preservation motive is the need for objectification, which is the need for passive and external motive. This motivation represents customers' desire for observable clues or symbols that allow them to infer what they feel and know. Emo kids, for example, typically wear gloomy, one-of-a-kind designs on their clothing to reflect their dark side. We now look into the cognitive growth motivations. There are 4 more needs in the category. The first need for cognitive growth motive is the need for autonomy, which is an active and internal motive. Individualistic countries have a strong desire for autonomy since their consumers value independence and individuality. Marketers have responded to this motive by creating limited edition products and offering several personalization possibilities. Nike, for example, allows customers to build their own of-a-kind pair of sneakers through Nike by You. The second need for such motive is stimulation need, which is an active and external. As a need for stimulation, consumers frequently want diversity and difference, which leads to brand wishing and impulse purchase. Teleological and utilitarian ones are the other 2 types of need associated with cognitive growth motive. The theological need is a passive internal that implies consumers choose mass media with outcomes that align with their worldview. Utilitarian needs refer to consumer demand for acquiring useful information by approaching situations. That conclude the first 8 Maguire psychological motives. Next, we will identify the other 8 needs for you.
So besides the cognitive growth motives that is presented in Win An's presentation about Mercury's psychological motives, now I'm going to continue up with the third approach of Mercury's psychological motives, which is affective preservation motives, which is separated into 4 different groups. The first one is the need for tension reduction. As you can see here, people usually tend to act upon the way they seek to reduce arousal. The second one is the need to expression, which is the way people try to express one's identity to the others. Third, we have the need for ego defense, which people are motivated to protect their self-concept when utilizing defensive behaviors or attitudes. The last one, we have the need for reinforcement, which people are motivated to act upon the same ways as similar situation in the past due to the rewarding system. And also, we will come to the last one, the last approach of Mercury psychological motives, which is the affective growth motives. And very similar to the first 3, people are separated into 4 different needs. The first one is the need for assertion, which people will try, especially competitive people, will try to seek success, admiration, and dominance. Second, we have the need for affiliation. The need for affiliation require people to seek for mutually helpful and satisfying relationships. And also we have the need for identification, which can be described as the need for identifications results in the consumers playing various roles. And also, last but not least, we have the need for modeling, which is a tendency to base behavior on that of others. Thank you for listening. So that's the end of my presentation. Moving up next will be the motivation theory presented by Thịnh.
Oh, hi, thank you, Lung, for introducing me. So I am Thịnh, and I will take the next part is like motivation theory in marketing strategy. So motivation is an internal force that make people behave in certain ways. A marketer can use this theory of motivation, influencing the consumer behavior to create or adapt their products or brand to appeal to both manifest and latent motive. So it's a result from the interaction from the conscious and unconscious factor and the reason for the individual behavior in a certain way. So in the context of the marketer, there are motives that individual will be aware of and also motive that they recognize as being a part of decision marketing, and these are preferred as the manifest and the latent motive. So the manifest motive are the reason behind the consumer behavior that unknown and admitted publicly, and the other one is like latent motive, unknown to the consumer and not common in behavior, which individual will be reluctant to admit it. So an example to demonstrate this theory to be shown by focus on a conference shoes. So as a university student, I believe that the measure of the consumer of this product in my age is will portray these latent motives, such as the way peers perceive the individual wearing the product, the symbolize of some sort of status and reputation by wearing the shoe. And here you can see the table that I described, a different manifest motive and the latent motive of the brand. And as a part of the consumer, the decision marketing must take into account the internal and external influence, which affect the consumer in their purchase of the product, and marketer must be able to understand and effectively target these motives, which drive the consumer to purchase and the product and use the service and respond to the social marketing. And Maslon 70 is the really common thing that you could see to look at motive. And the next part will be talking by Hugh.
Hello, teacher. My name is Liam Hill, and now I will continue to talk about learning object two. The motivation and customer involvement are two crucial sides of the decision making pertaining to purchase the product. They are inseparable attributes that influence the customer to make the decision to buy or not to buy a product. A motivate customer gets involved in the research and analyze activity pertaining to his purchasing activity before taking a final decision. Any consumer who gets initiated into the purchase process feel motivated by many factors that are internal and external in the nature. Looking at the motivation and relate theories that would substantiate the role of the same in the consumer involvement in the elaborate manners. The next part is about the marketing strategy based on a motivation conflict. The consumer motivation by thoughts, feelings, and belief. This motivation can suit a person to purchase, prefer a service, or choose a competitor products. Each consumer's decision can be influenced by his awareness of the brand, his immediate environment, or his action with relation to the products. Awareness, environment, and action are important to understand because they are the foundation of influence and conflict in the consumer behavior motivation. Marketers and business developers need to consider this element to reduce the effect of the conflict motivation, create a value of the consumer, design effective marketing communication campaign, and generate a profitable solution. And the next part is about a marketing strategy based on a regulatory focus. Regulatory focus theory posits that there are two main motivation in human nature: gaining pleasure and avoiding pain. And knowing which one motivate your customer more can lead to the better profit and more conversion from your marketing effort. All marketing effort come down to one thing: is connecting with the customer in a way that make them buy. And business scramble to that find the elusive spark that leads a sale. Regulator focus theory can help you reach your customer more effectively by making them feel deeply right about their decision to on your offer. So the next part we represent.
Hello everyone, my name is Tauheen and I am going to talk about the next learning objective, personality. What is personality, you might ask? Well, take a look at friends in a normal daily setting. Well, there are people who are hilarious and active. There are people who are calming and reflecting, and there are friends who surprise at everything. So the distinct personal traits by which people respond to similar situations are called personality. In order to get a picture of personalities, which is a broad aspect, we have trait theories. There are just many of them, and generally they agree that the traits are inherited or formed at an early age. However, there are one way that they differ, the characteristics that they state as important, and one of such is the multi-trait approach. Under this approach, several traits are put together. It accounts for a large proportion of someone's personality. 5 core traits that manifest each other are extroversion, stability, agreeableness, openness to experience, and conscientiousness. This explains for bargaining, complaining behavior, and compulsive shopping. And this provides a broad picture of personality. The second approach is the single trait. Under this, people examine one trait that is relevant to understand a larger set of personalities. The first aspect is consumer ethnocentrism. This considers how much consumers is biased against foreign products. The lower they are, the more willing to purchase domestic goods. So as to affect this aspect more deeply, we have the Vietnamese prioritizes Vietnamese goods campaign. And the next aspect is the need for cognition. This consider how much consumers engage in and enjoy thinking. And the final aspect is the need for uniqueness. Let's consider how much consumers want to be different, to like stand out. In order to adapt to this, Dior have made customized tote bags with the name of the owner on the bag itself. And Gen Z have been increasingly interested in secondhand clothing for being so unique, and DIY crochet an even more advanced personal statement. So next we have Soon who will present about how brand communicates their personality. Thank you for your listening.
Hi teacher, my name is Soon and thank you here for your part. Now I would like to talk about learning objective 4 is the use of personality in marketing process. First of all is the communicating brand personality, and you can know that products and brands have consumers assess their personality. For example, being electric, VinFast car for eco-friendly and trendy people. And brand image is what people think of and feel when they hear or see a brand name. And brand personality is a part of brand image. It is a set of human characteristics that become associated with a brand. Do you know that consumers readily assign human characteristics to brand, and brand personality creates expectations about key brand characteristics, and brand personality are often the basis for a long-term relationship with the brand. And there are 5 basic dimensions of consumers who perceive brand personalities, which are sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and goodness. And the ability of a brand personality affect consumer relationship is critical, and you can see the key insight. For example, Stargard is driving to be black by love, when Red Bull want to be hip and retro, and Sprite want to be streetwear. And first part of personality in marketing practice is celebrity endorsers are often a useful way to personify a brand, since the characteristics and meanings of the celebrity can transfer to the brand. So Nike actually individualistic brand, while Revlon is actually a confident brand. And user imaginary involves showing a typical user along with the images of the types of activities they engage in while using the brand, and its locational factors are the tone of the ad, appeal use, the logo typeface characteristics, for example, to go beyond the core message in real how it's communicated. And now I will talk about learning objective 5, it defines emotion, and then we'll talk about the list of major emotional dimensions. Emotions are strong, relatively uncontrolled feelings that affect behavior. As a result, products and brands that generate positive consumption emotions increase consumer satisfaction and loyalty. First of all, in the nature of emotion, the tables reflect the current thinking on the nature of emotion. And the nature of emotion refers to the identical specific feeling, and affect to refer to the liking or disliking aspect of the specific feeling. And for example, few of us generally want to be sad or afraid. We occasionally enjoy a movie, a book that scares or saddens us. Now, Tim, we'll talk about the next part of my part. Thank you.
Thank you, June, for the invitation. Now I will continue to present the next part. It is the type of emotion. There are 3 basic dimensions, that is, pleasure, arousal, and dominance. Specific emotion reflect various combination and level of these 3 dimensions. It is shown by this table on the screen as I show you. This table shows that there are a variety of emotion and feelings that based on these 3 dimensions, that is pleasure, arousal, and dominance. Moving to the last learning outcome, that is learning outcome number 6, emotions and marketing strategies. And I will analyze the first section, that is emotion arousal as a product and retail benefit. So emotion have an essential role in a variety of marketing circumstances, including product marketing, retailing, consumer copying, and advertising. So Emotion, arousal, and a product and retail benefit. So in this section, I will analyze that uh, the uh, the researchers shown that consumer actively seek things that provide emotion arousal as a primary or secondary advantage. Um, and one specific emotion that getting increased attention in terms of relationship marketing is gratitude or emotional gratitude, which is a desirable consumer outcome that leads to improved consumer trust and sales. So that is the end of my part. The last part will be presented by Lung.
Hello, teacher. My name is Long, and after my friend Tuyên has talked about the role of emotion as a product and retail benefit, I will continue that with another roles of emotion in this part. And the first one is about emotion reduction as a product and retail benefit. It is a fact that few people like to feel sad, powerless, humiliated, and discouraged. Respond to this characteristic. Marketers design and position many products to prevent and reduce the inflation emotions. A simple example for this can be seen in the weight loss and self-improvement products of many brands. Such items are usually positioned in terms of reducing anxiety, happiness, shame, and so on. And the second part is about consumer copying in product and service encounters. It cannot deny that consumers have to cope with the negative emotions in many various marketing situations, and copying is the process that involves consumer thoughts and behaviors in order to react with a stress event and achieve more positive emotions. There are three types of copying, which consists of the active copying, when consumers think of ways to solve the problem and avoid rush behavior. Expressive support seeking is when consumers seek emotional and problem assistances from the others, and avoidances is the consumers avoid the retailer mentally and physically. We know that avoidances is a common merchandise. For example, when we are in a bad mood and we have to go to the supermarket, we attempt to cope by avoiding the presentation of the products from a happy salesperson. And if we need to deal with them, the situation may become worse and it reduces the salesperson effectiveness. And the last one is about consumer emotional intelligence is important determinant of effective consumer copying, as the emotional intelligence show the abilities of consumers to skillful to use the emotion information to achieve the desired outcome. And the last role of emotion can be seen in the advertising. For advertisement, emotional content can enhance attraction of consumers. For instance, in traveling, they can use the picture of outstanding landscapes and put the content of the trip in that to attract consumers, like in case of Vietnam travel. Moreover, emotional messages can be processed more truly as a result of the enhanced level of arousal, and emotional acts may enhance liking of the act itself. For example, warmth is a positive value emotion and can directly influence consumers, so acts highly in warmth are liked more than the neutral ones. Many friends use such properties like the canal with their acts for family reunion instead holiday. We also know that repeated exposure to positive eliciting acts may increase the brand's preferences, and emotion may operate through highly involved process, especially when emotion is decision relevant. And that's also the end of my presentation and this chapter of my course. Thank you for listening and hope you have a nice day.